Hey everyone, it's July 28th. I know we'll have a few more people join us in progress, so I just too important to go over. So we're just trying to get more information out there. We've been going for a couple of weeks. Everything is live now. It's awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start. I know we still got a few more people coming in. I'll just have to do recaps, which I've been doing for a while, so I know how to do that. I started I was working on a session earlier. So, so there's a Yeah, so I told ChatGPT we are here. There we go. So that way it comes in. So we're going to kind of do a little bit of a total access bundle walkthrough. There's obviously 520 tools now, so not every tool is used all the time. So we're going to go over some of the tools. We're going to show a breakdown on a property I entered yesterday, and then we'll show the strategist. We'll do the artist. We'll talk about the sprints, which are coming up pretty good. Um, so let's go ahead and do let's go agenda item one. One. So basically, these are the tools we built. So I mean, we have 520 tools. Tool is BuyBox Builder. This is one of the first things you want to build after someone embeds their gets on the activation playbook and gets on RCIC. They're going to want to go here, and this says define your target property profile with precision. So that if you don't know what you're buying, you'll chase everything and close nothing. So starting a market, onboarding a partner, or launching a campaign. These are the core inputs. Asset class, bed and bath count, if you're looking, especially in single family. Obviously, if you got multifamily storage, REL, anything like that, you got to put those in real quick. Hey, Brianna, try to get Brianna on. So let me try to get her um, real quick. Hey, Brianna, how are you? I just started, so let me actually just real quick start over because I just started like 30 seconds ago. Um, so we got a couple more people coming on later, but so this is what actually has started. So I'm gonna go over today's the tool. Basically some of our tools. We have 520 tools. So it's gonna go over a couple of, just some of these everyday tools that work. There's probably about 13, 14 core tools that everybody will need. And there's a prompt. All you have to do is remember the Lord of the Rings, that there is but one ring, there is but one prompt to rule them all. When you put that in or you put in right now it's tool 501, but if you put in that, it'll literally bring up all the tools. But the core tools are pretty much what people are going to use every time. Then after that, we're going to do the Wamblee property, which is the one I think I sent you that thing on today in Colorado. I just found that property. I'll explain it when I get to it. Let me explain it when I get there so I don't get everybody behind. Because we'll have a couple more people joining us. And then we talk about the AI strategist activation prompt. Um, so and Zeke's coming on too. So let me kind of stall out real quick while Zeke gets on. I will sometimes I start and then people start showing up. Like, hey Zeke, what's going on? Zeke, I don't know if you met Arliss yet or Brianna. She's actually been in the group for about 2 years. So I don't know if you've met her yet. She's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of just started Zeke, so just to let you know, and Gabe's coming on now. So let me hold off for a second because now it looks like we got a few more people coming on. It always happens when I start, when I think I'm gonna have like two or three people, then I start and then I get like 10 people come on. Hey Gabe, what's up? How are you? So, cool. So Philip's note taker's here. Gabe, I don't know if you met Brianna or Zeke. They've been in the group for a while too. And then Arliss is new. She's actually one of our newer people. She joined about a month ago. So I'm just gonna kind of start real quick. I was starting a little bit, but I'll kind of go through it. If anybody has questions, let me know. Some of the tools, like I was telling everybody else, we have 520. And the 13 core tools are like the BuyBox Builder. This set, there's 13 of core tools, and pretty much every deal is going to need them. We have like the overnight deal engine, which isn't on here, but I'll talk about it. The overnight deal engine is awesome because you can put into 10 deals versus 12 inputs, and you can you just go to sleep and let it work overnight. And it is actually doing it. It's pretty incredible. Willie and Philip and Kenny and a few other people were on, and we tested it over 2 or 3 days. We put some deals in and had pulled them up the next session, so it's pretty cool. So we'll talk a little bit about this property on Wamblee, which is the road up in Pine, Colorado, which is only about maybe 10 miles from where I live. So, and James is on real quick. That's why I said I'm kind of slow rolling it. Troy and James are on. Yeah, we're getting some more people, so I'm going to kind of slow roll the start. So I apologize if I repeat myself. I'll try not to. I'm trying to slow roll in case we get more people. Hey, James and Troy, what's up? How are you guys? Um, so we just started. I just, I have to do a little bit of a recap. Trying not to get too far ahead in case we get some more people. But these are so the Wamblee property, I'll talk about that, and we'll talk about the AI strategist and the stuff and the sprints. So we get down to agenda one. It talks about like tool one's a BuyBox builder. So you can get in, asset class, what the bed and bath count is, year built, cities. And I want to mention anytime you're doing anything now, we're skip tracing or the counties, like all 3,144 counties and parishes are available. But the best thing to do is always put in the city, the zip code, the state, and put those three in there along with the address all the time. Make sure you get the county, the city, the zip code, and all that because it's repetition. This is repetition. The more users, the more inputs, the more deals go in, the better it gets. So when people just multiply, and what it'll do is an off ramp, meaning that it'll take you to like Jefferson County, Colorado, but it won't take you on there. It won't print. It won't come on the screen here. The information you would have to actually still like click on their website, but you can copy and paste, or you can save their information and bring it back over. In that case, you use the plus button here, add photos and files, and you can add it. That's what an off ramp is. There's also off ramps to like the attorneys and things like that. I have a couple of attorneys that are onboarding, securities and real estate attorneys. It'll have a yellow, in their case, it'll have like a yellow triangle, like a safety triangle that reminds you, hey, do you want to off ramp and connect with an attorney for legal advice on this? Especially when you start getting into the compliance and you start getting into contracts and stuff. It'll ask you, it'll still let you do it. It'll actually give you like the generic, like a neutral answer. You can actually go to all the state real estate commissions. We just try to make sure that we have the legal disclaimers to make sure that everybody has and I'll go over those questions. So remind me if you guys got a question. Hey, what is a transaction structure selector? I'll go over a couple of those tools just to kind of, and it'll actually explain it in a second. Let me get to it. It'll be in here because it's in this tool list. And I'm going to go kind of just a little bit faster. I probably won't read this because, like I said, we have 520 tools now, and we'll have more coming up. Offer logic building. This will actually engineer offers with financial, strategic, and seller aligned logic. So it's pretty cool. They say yes to your not to your offer, but to your reasoning. So this is kind of cool. It talks about a lot of stuff. Capital connector, identify the best funding source. This is where you, Gabe and Troy, you guys would come in a lot, of Philip as well. With capital connection. Obviously, I put in all those lender databases I had, and the 12,000. It actually went through several times. I did it between March and probably the end of May, about 5 different times. I went in and sorted it out. Went to 901 lenders that do real estate, 1,762 funding sources. So it's got the assets, the strategy, the amounts that they do, and then it has the off ramps. So that's kind of cool. That'll come back to the capital connector. So when you're on there, you can look for that. Keep in mind that I'm trying to get the tools to stay. Sometimes it doesn't have the tools are there, but the numbers sometimes may change. I'm trying not to get that. The more we use them, especially the core tools, like tool 1 through like 14, those will be used enough that they'll probably stay. It's memory, like we talk about. You're training your GPT and stuff. So keep in mind in my GPT, this red over here, where my cursor is, the prompt assistant, that's what you guys would be on if you have your GPT and you have the RCIC activation link. This one's my training one. So it's kind of cool. This gets into your deal screener AI, first pass underwriting to eliminate trash and highlight cash. So it goes through, it looks like all disqualifiers, timeline misfits, risk triggers. Says it doesn't guess, it filters its investor defined threshold. like I said, the more input, the more users, everything makes it more intelligent and more responsive. It's going to save everything in the logic. It's going to save everything I have in the Dropbox. I have 2,000 files right now, almost like 230 folders and about 2,000 files. And with Airtable, it'll be all automated with AI and Zapier, so it'll be fast. So everything will stay in there. Now, if you put a deal in, the numbers and all the deal information will stay, and the county and the state and the zip code and all that, so it keeps building that logic. But it won't. Nobody can see your deals after that. When you do lender matching, it actually gives you the lenders, or it gives you the people that, hey, who can JV on this deal if they're in the system. If they're in here, it'll tell you that. So the more users, the better. But nobody can go in and read it. If you have the personal GPT, people can still train on your information on what you do. But if you have the business account GPT, and I'll have it pull up and explain that at the end, it'll block it. The only people that then can see what you do are myself and Jesse Page, and then my partner Paul Hagee, who'll probably never be on here except when he's doing revenue sharing payouts at some point. So those are the only people that'll actually ever see every part of the workflow that you do. Everything else is locked down if you have the business account. It's only a small amount of difference between the personal account and the business account. That's all everybody has to do. If you're an associate, you basically have the activation playbook. It says KISS version, which is keep it simple, smart. I actually used to call it keep it simple, stupid, which was the motto of the Sante Raiders in Vietnam. But yeah, it's the KISS, and it's how, like, I know a few people in the group, Willie and Philip and all that, used to get on. So they're fully functional. Willie's only has the only complaint, and it's just, his complaint is it's addictive. He's spending a lot of time on here running his business, connecting and brokering. So here's that question: transaction structure selector. So I'll go over this since you asked about it, Arliss. Transaction structure selector. Recommend the optimal deal structure based on deal variables. So why it matters. It's always going to give you a purpose of why it matters, deploy when, and the considerations. Every tool is going to give you this. It's going to give you a use case on prompts. It'll always explain that. You can actually miss a prompt or put something in like a generic terminology. It'll come up and tell you what the better prompt is, and it'll tell you why. So it tries to educate you while you're educating it. So recommend like I said, why it matters. The wrong structure destroys good intent. So you have the terms capital and seller disposition. So it considers your capital stack, your exit strategy, seller's risk profile, legal complexity. But keep in mind, this tool maps your structure before you draft anything. So it's awesome. It's one of the cool tools you can use. And I'm going to show you guys on that Wamblee deal that I entered yesterday that it basically mapped out all the tools that I would need on that deal. And I'll show you that when I get to there. Post-close profit map. Show exactly how, where, and when profits exit the deal. Like I said, you want to determine your exit before you enter. Why it matters: transparency after closing, trust, clarify, reinvestment. Deploy when, building the case for partners or validating the strategy. So to get an equity split, debt service, tax obligations, disposition plan. You get into learning tracker and smart tag. So smart tags, we also have smart trace. We're calling our skip tracing smart trace. But it'll talk to here, and I'm going to get it to change to wingmen and wing women. It's kind of like we're like, people that are partners with you or, on your teams. This is a little bit more into the learning side. So we'll explain this a little bit more when we get into the RCI, into the sprints, which are not going to be like live. It's actually all virtual, but we'll be doing about 15 minutes starting August 12th, about 14 days in a row. We'll be covering about 15 minutes each of the tools that are in that part of that sprint. So we'll explain that before the end of the session a little bit more in detail. Yes, so we're going to do agenda item 2. I'm going to kind of show you guys. So with this property, which is in Pine, Colorado, Pine's about 10 to 12 miles from where I live. It's in the sticks, kind of going southwest from Denver towards, probably the, Four Corners. It's up, but it's about 20 miles from Denver. So I basically, there's a realtor up there that puts a lot of stuff that's in the sticks. There's an area in Hartselle, Colorado, in Park County, where you can get like an acre for like 10 grand. I mean, it's all flat. It's weird. But here it talks about Evergreen, which is where I live, but Wamblee Valley Road. So this is a chalet. So it's got STR potential, 5 acres. It has really good views. So I basically had she had one infographic that had the 3 pictures. One of the pictures is this really of the this is a forested area, and it had one of like the general area looking over the whole forested range of the area, and then it had a picture of the cabin, and it had like 2 pictures, one from the deck and one of the actual cabin. It was the 3 pictures, and it may be about, and she literally doesn't separate her paragraphs, so I copy and pasted it into this, and I'll tell you what it came up with, just off of, you get the address, you need to get the address, the city's, county, state, zip code, and a little bit of information, and it'll tell you what it's going to do. So it could be a primary, a second home, VRBO. There's some issues with some of this though. It'll explain it in a second. I'll show you guys. 5+ acres, it's turnkey, sold furnished. It overlooks a 40-acre panel and about 117 plus a lot of forest. It's more than 117 acres. You're 9 miles from Highway 74, which is 20 minutes to Evergreen, which is where I live. And Danny from Agents Gather lives in Evergreen. He's a realtor there, and about 40 minutes to Denver, down 285. This is residential, Pine and Jefferson County. So, because you got to think there's Pine. Pine also just past Pine is where Park County starts. Obviously, Park County is where South Park is supposed to be, the TV show. But yeah, it's right there. So it's in the sticks a little bit. It's in the forest. Run it through Deal Screener 136. So it was doing a vacant or furnished. It checked it. The higher buyer demand area, check. There's a lot of people that like living up there. That's why our communities are really big. I mean, the average home price in Evergreen's like about 850 to 900,000. That'll get you like a 3.2. It's a pretty good multiple exits possible. Sell, short-term rental, midterm, turnkey, low rehab. It also, like I said, here's your triangles for safety to check on it. It'll give you the green if you're good, green check mark, or it'll give you sometimes a blue, for some more screening, or it'll give you a red. If it gives you a red, it's pretty much a no-go unless you can do a lot to fix it. So price to rent ratio for LTR may be weak. So it'll tell you that, flag for exit planning. You got the green light for screening forward. So it talks to recommended off ramps, like I was talking about off ramps earlier. It'll tell you to bring up tool 173, which you can just type down here, and which is the short-term rental regulation mapper. So you can pull that up, and then it'll give you the language. It'll give you how to, then go to Jefferson County, Colorado, and pull up their short-term rental regulations. Or you can go to the profit, and then you can go to the profit map. Step 2 is offer strategy, tools 137 and 40. You get your offer scenarios, your cash discount, owner finance pitch, wrapper sub 2 hybrid, seller or passive equity partner for STR cash flow. And tool 137 will show owner finance offers, highest net. And then your wrapper sub 2, your cash. 140 has that as well. And then you can also do your visible offer layer. So we're not just buying your home, we're offering to carry its legacy forward, keep it in the family by letting another family create memories here too. There is a lot of language in here. So you can get a lot of help with how to put in what to put in your offers and how to communicate people. I put in about 10 pretty good, I consider, negotiators that are real people. Some of them you guys would know, like Chris Voss, the FBI negotiator, Gary Nesner, another FBI negotiator. I put in a lot of people like neurolinguistics programming. It actually went in there and researched a lot of it, and it put a plan together. If you got on the real estate front, forget politics. I did put like Eric Trump in there and Steve Witkoff, and then I put some ambassadors like Rick Grinnell, and I put in Chris Miller, who's a former Secretary of Defense, because he was a Special Forces colonel, and he had to do a lot of negotiations with the Taliban right after 9/11, and so there's a lot of language in here, a lot of negotiation stuff, and you can get a lot of good support for your offers and stuff. Pull your short-term rental comps versus tool 172. Check your permit flow versus tool 175. Build your seller presentation deck, and your line up your funding as your capital connector, and then you can also do lender match. So that's kind of just on that property. If you guys want to see what the actual result is, let me know, and I will, afterwards, and I'll actually send it to you, just what it came up with, because it had a pretty good plan. I mean, I could actually pull it up if we got more time. I have it in here in the plans. So we'll go over agenda item 3, which is we're talking about the sprint and also the AI sprints. And then I'll bring up some stuff for onboarding and stuff like that after this. So if you guys like, it's got the strategist mode. So one of the things it's going to do is it's really good prompts on this stuff. Rewire your internal limiter, align your actions with power instead of scarcity, move from tactics to strategy, become the leader your market, team, and investors are looking for. So it talks about a lot of stuff in here. You can come in and you can, we're doing the AI sprints. Like I said, we're doing 4 of them. They're 14 consecutive days. They're not going to be like a whole, like on visual. You'll actually just be able to go to the Patreon and you'll be able to watch the videos just on those items, but you can also log in. We'll be doing Zooms like this at the same time for 14 consecutive days. I'll be doing an hour-long Zoom. And the first 15 minutes, we'll go over that tool of the day in depth. So those first 14, 15 tools that are important to every deal, we'll actually go over those 15 deals. This strategy program is something I'm putting together later on, which will go into more detail. There's 2 levels. As an associate, you guys can just pull it up on the Patreon. I put the link into the Facebook group today, so you have free access to it, and you can go in there and just watch the videos. And there's already curriculum there. I'm going to be going in over the next 2 weeks before August 12th. It's going to start August 12th. It's going to go through the 26th. Every day at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, or 6 Central. I'll be live just like I am now. We're going to be doing at least an hour every day, maybe up to 3 hours. Like sometimes if we need to go like a couple hours, we'll go record it for an hour. I'll go over that tool of the day, that part of the AI sprint, learning that tool and how to implement it into your AI, and then we'll go into deal stuff. And if you guys want, after the first hour, we'll take the recording off, and if you don't have GPT at the time, I'll go ahead and run it through mine with you on the Zoom, and you can, just send me what you need ahead of time. If you got some properties you want me to submit, I can save PDF and Word. I'll be doing that. Preferably, it'd be better if everybody has their GPT already, and I'll go over that, how to set that up at the end and make sure you have access to that. The personal level of GPT-Plus is $20 a month, and they have a business, and I'll go over what the difference is. I can't do anything about that, but you guys are associates as far as I'm concerned. You guys are all good. I'll give you the link. It's just you got to decide. I'm telling you right now, if you get ahead of this AI stuff, you're going to be ahead of a lot of people, most everybody in the business. There's only a couple other people I know that are doing anything close to this. Jim Ingersoll with the deal maker group. They're, I don't know. You can do lead generation. You can do skip tracing, lender matching. It's cool. I mean, you can do everything. The offer generator. You can do the overnight deal engine. We have a thing called closing time. Just a ton of stuff. Well, like I said, over 500 tools. So these are the preview and walkthrough. Like I said, August 12th to the 26th. For anybody that's not in the group, you guys are tier 4, lifetime or associate, so it's free. So don't worry about the 49. But there's the Patreon, there's a tier. So like I said, in the Facebook group, or if you need it, let me know and I'll send you your it's a gift link, and you have access through November. There's going to be 4 sprints. They're all going to be the same. All the curriculum is there, so you'll have full access for 4 months to that, and then we'll change over and start doing the strategist one probably in January after I build it a little bit more. So this is going to be tools. They're going to be used about 25 of the tools, and we're going to go through the 13 core tools and then 12 strategy and execution tools. So it talks about, this is day 1. So day 1 is going to be unlocking your AI identity, and then invisible offer craft. So they might jump around. It goes from 1 to 10. Your invisible offer craft, we'll go over that one. Capital clarity, the deal filtering mastery. We'll go over offer architecture, strategic structuring, profits in motion, learning intelligence. They'll get into casework, field prompts, and tool pairing. And there's actually an exam you guys can take, and I'll send you a certificate, whatever it's worth. I mean, if it's, I hopefully people will actually enjoy it. I mean, I know nobody really probably recognize it, but if you guys take the time to do it, I'll try to make it nice, at least something cool. I mean, but thank you guys for taking it, because eventually I'm trying to get it. I really want to get all this up. And everybody that's known me for a while, it's like I couldn't do any of this 6 months, a year ago, and it's pretty cool what we can do now. So we're going to do the strategies credential as well. And like I said, then we also will be doing a lot of AI consulting and stuff like that. And I'll be looking for people to help. And, we'll have a structure for anybody, what they want, if they want to go and help put other, programs together for people, or if you just want to, learn more and more so you can do your real estate business. Like I said, Willie's running a lot of his business now with this program. And so it's pretty cool. And then you can AI master, you can monetize. and you get full access. Well, now there's 520 tools. This is today, as of this morning, 501, plus all the tools, referrals, lenders, and all that vendors built in. So this kicks off August 12th. You register once, and access the dashboard inside of Patreon. Use file tool 510 will actually track it all. That's all in the instructions that I have, so you don't have to memorize this. 14-day replay access. So if you guys just really quick want to see this, yes and yes, and then I'm going to go into a few more things, and then if you guys got questions, I usually try to go about an hour. We've been going over. It's just I try to go about an hour. So, so this is the dashboard. Each day drops will have our own post. The featured tool of the day. It'll have the training prompt and the mini lesson. There'll be some download links, PDF, Word, and then the vault. Like I said, the vault is where everything drops to. Right now, I'm using Dropbox. It'll become the backup because I'm building Airtable. If you are not using Airtable, you should get it. The free version is pretty much all anybody's going to need. I don't see any use for anybody like ever needing the paid version unless you're really doing like a lot of, if you're really lending and things like that, maybe at some point. But and there's some really good tutorials on YouTube for Airtable. It's free. You can automate it. And the beauty, if you got Airtable and you're using RCIC with our Airtable, you'll actually be able to just pass stuff right into your Airtable and actually just pretty much copy everything almost verbatim that we're doing. It's pretty sweet. So you get all the progress tracker, which is tool 510, certification prepped. So it gets into all these days. And these are all in the Patreon now. So if you guys give me the link, you can go and see these more in depth. So like I said, we already have all 14 days. So I'll just kind of glance through this real quick. Yes. Cool. We'll just look at these tools. And I'm probably not going to, you can toggle things and you can play with stuff. This is incredible. Like I said, if anybody doesn't know, I've got almost, I think by this Friday, I'll have about 650 hours in this. So this is a great activation prompt. If you guys, if you have GPT now, you put this prompt in, it's pretty cool what comes out of it. What would I stop doing today, and what would I finally go all in on? So it's going to get the live tool walkthrough the BuyBox builder. What's your target property type? What cities or zips are you focused on? This is one of the things that's going to first ask you when you actually onboard with RCIC to begin with. It's going to ask you to put your information in there, your name, your company name, your contact information. Then it's going to help you build a buy box, and it's going to so you're going to be able to have all this stuff. Then it'll save it. Now you're probably going to want to do it 2 or 3 times. It's a memory-based thing, remember? So I just want to tell people, the second time you come in, don't be surprised if you got to go and put some of the same information in. It does take 2 or 3 times to wait for it to have memory, but it does have memory. It remembers it remembers you after it doesn't take that much at all. What your price ranges is, what you're looking, if you're doing a single family, obviously doing multifamily, self-storage, anything else, you can still build your buy box. So we're just going to call it buy box builder. I know that there's some of this word we just have to standardize across the platform. So it's pretty cool. What kind of deal type are you mostly looking at? What kind of cash flow? Flipping, short term? What are you looking for? Once you fill this out and you really just type this through the Ask Anything, you build out your buy box. It's going to start filtering everything and then show the buy box output on screen. It'll clean, clear, and prompt ready. It's all ready for you. Then you got the offer logic builder. That's going to help you build your offers. You get in the capital connection. We also have lender matching. So you get in lender match. You go through lead gen, smart trace, go to overnight deal engine. You can put them to 10 deals up overnight. It'll process them during the night. Then the next morning, you can go to both lender matching and offer generator. So the one you decide you want to make offers on, it'll help you make all the offers. It'll help you write out all your correspondence to make your offers. It cannot, and OpenAI has said this, they will not, there's never going to be a time where it's going to ever send anything. You still have to manually like save it to PDF, Word, Excel, all that stuff, and then send it yourself. But it's doing 95% of the work for you. If all you got to do is save it, maybe you have to sign it, DocuSign, whatever. It's going to still do 95% of the work for you, just to let you guys know. So these are some of the tools. And obviously the AI Sprint, we just talked about that August 12th. Let me real quick. Can you show? the onboarding process for associates who have lifetime. And see, I misspelled a word. It's still trying to get it right, so don't worry about that. It lets you make a few typos. So, like I said, I have the activation playbook. You guys are already in here, so you don't have to worry about this. But it'll have the prompt bar activation guide. All this is in the files tab, so you can pull this out and you can go get right in. It basically, once you have GPT, and I'll ask it in a second how to get to GPT access and what the differences between personal and business are. And then once you have that, then there's a prompt, and basically as soon as you have that prompt, it recognizes it as part of RCIC, and you basically then fire away with your embedding, which is what we call it, your introduction, your buy box. It'll help you establish markets. You can put into 25 markets. You can say nationally, but ideally put in 25 markets, and kind of go through and tell them, hey, I want St. Louis, Missouri. Let it pull up and then make sure it confirms those are the zip codes and that's the zip codes are right. Like I said, it's doing 95% of the work for you, but you make sure your zip codes, your county, your city, your state, and your markets are in there. It's gonna do the rest of it for you. Core tools setup. So once you get the first prompt, then it's gonna help you. Uh, it's gonna have the PDF and Word versions. It's gonna have the prompt bar command, the tool logic overlay. It's gonna have all the vault file access. It's gonna have all your starting tools, your BuyBox builder, your often logic, builder, your capital connector, deal screening. It's gonna have all those tools. It gets a learning tracker. It's gonna talk, it's pretty cool. It teaches all this stuff. Unlock the vault, 501 tools. Now there's 520. Asset class specific tools. There's flips, there's rentals, short-term rentals, multifamily. You want to do syndication on a multifamily or something else, storage, your underwriting engines, seller messaging and offer generators are all in there. Smart Walk helps you walk it. You can put pictures in. You can do a lot of stuff with pictures. I recommend a company cam. Again, just like the other free tool I talked about, Airtable, get the free version of Company Cam because I used it when I was in the construction industry. You can literally put in the address. You can put in take as many photos as you want. This is if you're taking photos on site. Obviously, you can also put in pictures if you are, pulling them up from a wholesaler or somebody who's got the pictures online. You can put them in, enter them in the system through this plus, and you will actually get, it helps you. It'll actually help you it'll put your due diligence together. It is actually sensitive enough. It can actually kind of tell you, hey, there looks like there might be mold, there might be cracks, there might be some code issues. It'll tell you that. It's pretty cool about that. It's pretty sweet. It does get into a lot of stuff with rehab. The one thing I've still got to work on, it's going to take a little bit of time and probably a lot of people putting deals in, rehab pricing. But it will do all of your rehabs, your scheduling. It'll put your draws together, your draw paperwork. It'll put your contractor agreement together. It has tools to remind you to verify their insurance, things like that to enter them. You can also ask people to put their HUDs in. You don't see all the information on their HUDs, but it knows where to go look for it, and it'll actually score if you're dealing with somebody. Hey, put your HUD in, put your settlement statement in. Like I said, people won't be able to see all the information, but it'll score it based on what they put in there. It's a pretty cool tool that scores that, and then basically tells you, hey, this person's put in like 30 HUDs in, and they've done this much, business and stuff. It can tell you that. It'll give you a reputational capital report. Business formation, legacy planning suites in there. You got all the strategic planning. Like I said, we talked about the sprint enrollment. You get access to the August 12th. There'll be a fall harvest ops. It's kind of like Halloween time. And then the final sprint will be right before Thanksgiving. And you can take all of them as an associate. So that way you don't miss something. And that or you just want to keep reinforcing it. Then you got the optional certification. RCIC network. We got a separate, like you guys know, how many Facebook groups I have. But I do have one for RCIC as well to kind of keep things separate because there may be, you guys are associates. We're not really going to add people to the associates program. Well, everybody is going to start going into that private Facebook group for RCIC. Ask me if you're not in there already. Ask me to make sure you're in there, so you'll have that information. You'll also have the Patreon. Real quick, yeah, you'll be operational, trained on core tools. You'll be sprint ready, embedded, backed by AI, finding strategy. Um, Yes. Yes. And then I'm going to ask it to do the GPT. And then if you guys got questions, we may just go a little shorter tonight because we got, I'm getting kind of good at showing this off, and I don't want to go so deep that, but like I said, if you guys want me to do it, I'll go down here and pull up that property and show you guys that property on Wamblee, what it came up with. It's kind of cool. I'll make sure I do that. So you got all the onboarding stuff. Like I said, it's in Files tab. If you want it, and you can't find it, let me know. I'll make, like I said, it's pretty easy to get in. Willie's in, Phillips in, Ginger. I think we have about 11 people from the group now that are on it that got to. James, I know you're on it. A few other people. So yeah, it's kind of easy. You got and then you get the live walkthrough. So obviously, we'll be able to do a lot more stuff. We're gonna do these on Mondays and Wednesdays. Like I said, when we do the sprints, we'll be 14 days in a row. So for an hour, like I said, all the tools, all the tools, all the tools. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just loosen some of this a little bit. I want
Hey,
to show.
Nate, quick
Yeah,
question. Does it put it into an easy to read like PDF file?
yeah. You can save it
Oh,
to PD. You can save PDF, Word. It does format Excel. There's still some where you might have to still play with it a little bit, but PDF and Word go pretty good. It's just when you get into like Excel, it'll format it. But some OpenAI has some things that they know they're working on. They're working on. You guys see Sora over to the left of my screen? Sora is their video. It's 4K video. Right now, they only giving it to people with the test group are people with a business, uh, GPT-Plus with a business. Right now, it can do 30 seconds of 4K video. So imagine they're trying to get it up to like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes eventually, and then be able to offer it to everybody. So think about making a listing or a training video right in here. You can describe it, make it outline it. Go to Sora, put it, makes a video. Pretty sweet. But yeah, there's some things around it that it's basically got, they know they have to fix. Visuals, people have to be patient on. They do a really great job. You guys have seen everything I've been posting. Once in a while, I think Gabe, you pointed out that typo to me one day. Every once in a while, there'll be a typo. Most of the time, I catch it if it's big. Keep in mind, I'm on the screen a lot, so my eyes are. I literally have an optometrist appointment for the first time in like my life as an adult because I've been on it so much that I'm like my eyes. Sometimes I just miss something minor, but it does really good at visuals, but sometimes it'll be padding issues. It'll get down to a visual. Like I'm trying not to do visuals right now because sometimes they can be a little slow. But at the end, they call it padding. So you get down to maybe it's 95% done, and it'll be like a 5 item thing. It'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, but then 5 will be cut off. So you can remind it, okay, can you regenerate this? Sometimes I'll actually save it anyway, and I'll go back and re-enter it and ask them to fix it. Sometimes it struggles. Sometimes you won't be able to get the exacts. Like it makes a really cool thing, but it screws something up. Keep in mind, so you're teaching it, you're being patient. It does try to do some things that it's trying to do that OpenAI has said they're going to be able to do. It's going to be able to take you to Canva eventually. Eventually, it can actually. You guys will see down here some of this. I'm on here so much now, 650 hours almost. That I've made some parody songs. I made Investor Man over the Piano Man song. The Billy Joel song. I made Mr. Roboto stick song from like 1980. I used to listen to at the bus stop in third grade. uh I made it Mr. Wholesaler about wholesaling and wholesalers, the issues they cause. I have about 20 parody songs in here. It's pretty funny because Ginger's, if you guys know Ginger, she plays bass in her church band. She's really good. So we had some pretty good when we were in here talking about a couple of weeks ago. And James, you've been on 4 or 5 times, so I know you've seen the growth just since the first time I showed it to you. I mean, it's just incredible what every day it's growing, it's getting stronger. So Rihanna, the thing is, the first thing is you are training it to be your system. You are training it the way you want it to be. You're going to basically take everything that is built. It's like getting a brand new home, but they're letting you do all the furniture. They're letting you choose the colors, the carpet, the flooring, and all that. It's basically giving you the shell, and then you basically can go in and take it any way you want. Now I'm going to show you guys a couple more quick things about that. And it's like I said, okay, explain GPT plus and personal versus business. Okay, because it matters if this. So GPT-Plus is OpenAI's premium plan for ChatGPT. That gives you accounts of GP40. You guys see I'm a GPT-40. I can also access any of the modules. There's actually some that are good for deep research, like in the tools. You can do deep research. Believe me, if you're doing deep research, you're going to be there for like an hour. It does deep research. The nice thing about everything you do in here, it'll give you the sources. It'll tell you what websites. When I'm doing deep research, man, it'll like by the end of the research, there'll be 40 or 50 websites that it's gone on. It can do 100 searches in like seconds, in like 30 seconds or a minute. So it's pretty cool. So on 40, right now they are coming out at 50, but it won't change the price. It says, and it's going to add some things. It's not saying exactly what it's doing. Like this is, they're still, so if you're on 3.5, which is the free tier, you won't be able to run, you could run it, but it's not going to run them properly. There's no memory and it misses all the logic layering. This is, like I said, 501 tools. There's actually 520 as of 1 o'clock today. So that's cool. So uses structured prompting logic. It has all the logic. It runs multi-layered reasoning. You've got connection memory and tagging. So a tool of 510 will start tagging so it can remember things. Navigates 3,144 counties plus 2,600 strategies. I mean, it literally has every county in the United States. I spent almost a month, going through that process. I have and it will work in the night. You can ask it to work in the background overnight, and you have to remind it. But it has all 254 counties in Texas, every county in Wyoming. We do that with Zeke to help Zeke out because Wyoming's kind of got some issues with, low population, low inventory. Remembers your BuyBox, your capital needs, and your tool path. So all your memory is there. So if you go and build it in the free, it may not remember that. So the free users don't get that power. And plus, you get the prompt bar, which is over here, the prompt assistant that I built. It has my name on it. It has all that. Vault tools, AI sprints. You get all the strategists, all that stuff, all the off ramps. So they talk about it right now is the GPT Plus. This is them, 20 a month. And I have the link to sign up for it. And then the next link is once you're on it, you've got that, then it'll actually activate you on the prompt assistant and you're in. You can still go into other things. You can actually build your own GPT. My philosophy is, I think Willie's going to do it. I would like to see everybody then start building their own GPTs to help you plan in your business. And the beauty of it, like I said, you've got, individual users, works fine for 95% of the members. You want to get the team plan, the business plan is $25 to $30 a month per user. You can work with shared workflows, adds admin features and workspaces. You probably don't need the GPT unless you get like a lot more people, but $25 to $30 a month to users. They say they recommend starting with the personal, and this is just where you go. Click upgrade to plus. Like I said, I've got the prompt for it to how to go in there and where to go. Open and then what the first prompt you need after that to activate RAI. And it said, can you use RCIC without GPT Plus? This is a no, it's designed for GPT-40. So free users won't see logic stack or outputs. Can I use it on my phone for GPT Plus? Yes. You can use it on your desktop and mobile app. Willie's actually using it on his phone. And I'm not even doing that yet. Just mainly because I just haven't done it. I've been so busy, but you will be able to use it on your, you can actually designate it to be on your phone. So if you're out there, you want to do you want to put in pictures, what better way to activate and be able to put pictures in right from the job site into your into RCIC. And it does stand for Real Estate Capital Intelligence Community. Can I write off GPT Plus as a business expense? Yes, if it's a business tool, you can write it off. GPT Plus is your key. The RCIC is your arsenal. Strategist is your role. It says you're in the room, but you're unarmed if you don't have it. I'll make a quick yes and yes and explain how no one can train on their account with business. So yeah, they cannot train on your account if you have business. So I'm on August 9th, I'm actually upgrading it just because I'm one of these people I just want to upgrade at the next payment just to keep things orderly in my own personal, in my headspace. So on August 9th, I'll be upgraded to business. What they cannot do is here it says, so what happens with GPT business accounts, your team or enterprise, when you upgrade to team or enterprise, OpenAI applies strict workspace boundaries and privacy walls. This is why when you put deals in, you can put more information in. One of my frustrating thing, and I see it and even in our group, and I know people are shell-shocked. I know why they do it. They put in, hey, who can do a deal in Galveston, Texas, and they put in a little bit of information. There's not enough decision, and I usually call those flyover of like, hey, they're posting this. You can put a lot of information in this. It will protect it if you have the business account. It'll somewhat protect it if you have a personal account. Like I said, the only people that are going to see it, your entire workflow and your deal flow, every item is myself, Jesse Page, and Paul Hagee, who's Paul's been my best friend since 2007, long before I ever thought about getting into real estate at all. And he was a wealth manager at Chase Bank. So he's going to be my CFO. There will be there will be an ops team, and it'll be probably at some point a few people I'll add per month that'll go on my account. They'll mainly be people like moderators and stuff, just because my goal is to obviously get a ton of subscribers and people, and we need some, I can't do everything myself at a certain point. So no prompt training. So you can't save or improve memory across sessions. Um, so, and then why it breaks RCIC. Can't remember your BuyBox or track your XP, which it'll explain XP. No impersonal memory. There's no multi-agent use. You can't run training for others inside your account if you don't have, if you, yeah. So it gives you a lot of privacy walls. Your inputs aren't used to improve models. So nobody can go in, your inputs, when you have the business account, what you input can't be used to improve other people's uh or other than internally. So obviously if you're an RCIC and you're working in it and you got the business account, it's making the RCIC model bit better because you're a part of it. But outside of it, nobody can actually train or access your inputs. So if you have the personal, you have the free, it's pretty much open season. So it's kind of like lockdown. It's kind of like security features. They're good for sensitive data, but it means RCIC can't adapt to you. So there's admin controls. So here's an example. Someone buys GPT team thinking it'll help their assistant or VA, but now RCIC tools can't recall past tool use. It doesn't retain command history. The sprint badge progress disappears, and they can't train it on it in their deal style. So they pay more, get less, and the system doesn't work. So what you should use, GPT-Plus personal plan. So it has the memory enabled. RCI tools get smarter with use. It gets smarter, more intelligent, more responsive. All your replays and tagging, all your sprint tracking, all your tools. Full prompt bar access, one prompt to rule them all. Just remember Lord of the Rings, which I've never actually seen. I didn't even read the book when I was a kid. I was just looking for something everybody would remember. That whole one ring to rule them all, one prompt to rule them all. That unlocks, that brings up the entire inventory catalog of tools. And then you can go through it, and they are batch. So you can go and, hey, I'd like to have the tools on raising capital. I'd like to have the tools on how to set up my LLC and make decisions between C Corp and S Corp. It'll actually bring those up in batches if you want them, or it'll branch the whole list. Obviously, you want to get used to core tools. When you have the business account, you are in there, so you can actually then designate your own tools. If there's 25 tools you use all the time, you don't need anything else, then you can actually save your own tools. And you can say, these are my tools, it's kind of cool that way. $20 a month, not $30 a seat is the personal plan, and it's trainable. You can train your assistant to think like you, your prompt assistant. You can train it. You can also bring VAs on, business partners. If you do the business account, you could have 2 or 3 business partners on there. You just pay per seat, and so you can have that. So we don't support RCIC installs on GPT equipment or accounts. So require memory, tagging, recall, and replay. It's all disabled by default in business plans. So GPT Plus personal is RCIC ready and all this, and then basically display all this. And I'll put yes and yes. So like I said, you want to just really just get the personal account to start with. So you probably don't. Nobody's really need a business account for a while unless you really just start doing so much stuff that maybe you start developing your own tools, which you can do, and you start wanting to lock some things down. Then you can do that. So it's kind of cool. This is how my files look, by the way, in Dropbox. So I'm not going to open Dropbox because I'd have to off ramp to Dropbox, but I've got over 2,000 files in there. You guys know all those files that were in Files tab? They're all in here, and that 150 became about 500 items. literally there's some things we made some other checklists. It went into a lot of these things that I've been showing you as a lot of, I've probably put 10,000 pages, but it goes through instantly. You could put a 500-page book in this right here and load it up as a file. It'll read it in like a minute and it'll go through it, and then you can literally, I've scanned in so much stuff. I've scanned in a lot of deal information from deals I brokered going back 9 years. There's so much stuff in here. Like I said, 650 hours is a lot of time, a lot of screen time. So there's some contents. Here's a visual talk for the live session ready. So it's kind of cool. It makes it all live script. I'm not gonna really get in it because I can post this stuff later. Yes and yes. Then watch this real quick. I'll tell you guys. Then I will process the Zoom. This is kind of cool. It'll make all, like you guys have seen me posting, it'll make all your Zoom stuff, all your YouTube, your title, your description, your hashtags. It'll make your thumbnail. Keep in mind if you're doing YouTube, your thumbnails have to be under 2.0 megabytes. So I always tell it 1.99. It still sometimes screws it up, and believe it or not, once in a while I do have to actually give up on a visual, or I have to go to Canva. So keep that in mind. It's getting better. Sometimes, like, you want to check in if visuals or something's really slow, ask if anything's going on. It may be stuff at OpenAI at one of its data centers where they're upgrading. So you can go and it may change from Chat GPT 40 to like another model where you can just do nothing but you can do all your text stuff, no problem. Never has any problem with the text stuff. It's usually just getting into visuals and some other things that are more advanced, but it's pretty awesome. Like I said, you just got to have a little patience. Uh, and you generate the YouTube assets, and it knows the difference. Watch this. It knows that's YouTube. Title, description. I was just reminded, and some of their, and like I said, I go 1.99. So the viewers can watch in real time. And I've been making those videos using Pictory. It'll generate me like a 2,500 word summary. I've been doing Agents Gather. So there you go. Here's my YouTube. So I can copy and paste. Then I can go and copy and paste this after this. It'll have all the times. So see, it'll already have all the times made for me. It'll give them the address where they go for the sign up. It'll have where they go, the separate one to go in there and get the sprint. It'll also have my email address and my tags, more tags. It'll have my thumbnail. And then yes on the second option. Watch, so we'll do one visual just so you guys can see. It's gonna make my yeah, like I said, it's pretty thorough. Like I said, I'll be doing this again on Wednesday, and we'll be doing this again on the associate session. If you get GPT and you have it, well, let me make sure you have the activation playbook. Like I said, it is in Files tab. It's one of the top, in there. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll get it to you directly. It does have to go to OpenAI, and then it has the first prompts you use after that to access. And if you guys want to embed, if you guys sign up and you want to do it like on live while we're on Zoom, we can do that. Like I said, these sessions now on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and when we do these sprints, you guys can come on and we can just work on deals, and we can do an hour where I can show you guys stuff, and I can, kind of give you how to set all your stuff up, and then we can go off recording, and then we can just do deal stuff, and I can show you guys how to put in like the real quick before we sign off. I'll ask it to show the overnight deal engine and the 12 inputs. Keep in mind, some of the 12 inputs are like will be for single family, so you can modify it. If you use the 12 inputs, you may put in more if you're doing multifamily, anything like that larger. So you can modify it on site, but you ask for the 12 inputs. At some point, we may build input sets for the overnight deal engine. Once we've had a lot of deals go through there, just because I don't want to like overwhelm it right now. So just keep in mind some of the stuff you can change on the fly. You just use ask anything. There is voice. You can dictate it. This is voice mode. You can enter all the tools. And then this is where you add photos and files. It's pretty cool. Then I'll show you that property, and then I'll show you the overnight deal engine before we sign off. Like I said, it generated my. I'll see what this looks like. It's probably gonna have my picture and all that. This will be the YouTube thumbnail. So this I will post tonight, probably an hour into it, and then it's pretty cool. Sometimes it uses me, sometimes it uses. Well, you guys have seen Jack, who's my character I created. He's kind of like Doug on the Liberty Mutual, where REI is the reindeer, and he's kind of like the Geico Gecko or the emu. So those are my characters. When you do, you can ask REI to come up. You can make sure you use the periods. And I know it's a pain in the ass, but REI is supposed to be like, he's kind of like he's obviously, I call him the second most famous reindeer in the world because and it's basically he's a combination of Snoopy, Alf, Ernie from Sesame Street because he's got that curiosity, the Count from Sesame Street because the counting. And I wanted to make a character that eventually we can kids and stuff would like. And then Jack is actually based on real people, and that's not Jack, but I mean I can tell you it's pretty cool. Jack is based off of J.P. Morgan himself, and then you throw in a couple of live real people. You guys, everybody loves Mike Rowe, the everyday blue collar guy, dirty jobs guy. Then you throw in Dennis Leary because you need to have that humor, and you got that comedian, the actor, and then you throw in two people that a lot of people haven't heard of a lot, probably unless you're a military historian, are Patty Main and David Sterling. David Sterling was the founder of the SAS in World War II, 1941. And Patty Main was third in command. He took over when David Sterling got taken POW. And they are two of the most those guys were like on their own, like 300 miles behind enemy lines in North Africa, like literally death at their doors. They were like, there's a scene in the book about them where they're all drunk when General Montgomery visits them. And General Montgomery's like a hard ass, probably one of the hardest ass generals in history from Britain. And he just gave them permission to stay drunk as long as they kept winning. Because I don't, because they were getting 30, 40 guys killed at a time going on these raids behind enemy lines. So it's kind of cool. Real quick, can you show the overnight deal engine? And then I'll show you that property on Wamblee. And it does if you put typos in there. I just like to make sure I try not to make as many as I make them a lot more at night when I'm doing this. And 12 prompts, 12 inputs, call it inputs. And then I'll pull up that Wamblee property and show you guys that, and then we'll sign off for the night. The overnight deal engine is tool 13 of 13. This is your one command launch pad. It reverse engineers the entire deal in under 10 minutes using just 12 inputs. So screen the deal. You got tool 136. Suggest the structure, build your offer, routes the funding, projects profit, build your seller pitch, add smart off ramps for attorney, lender, or TC, all from one unified prompt. Hey, I've got a lead. Can you run it overnight? It's going to have, obviously, if you're doing anything besides, like I said, a single family, you'll have to change it. These are ideally the 12 prompts. And like I said, if you need to add it, like down in here, you get engine run screening, structuring, offer generation, funding match, profit analysis, seller positioning. One PDF and Word, you can get a PDF and Word offer deck back. You get a prop bar seminary. If it asks you to put in the vault, put in the vault because it helps with logic. It helps with your logic. It'll remember you, but the logic will actually have the deal. It won't have like your name or the address on it. It will track the city, state, zip code, and county, obviously, to help with basically running skip tracing and deals in the future. But add it anytime it asks you to, if it wants to add it in the vault, put it in the vault, and then it just helps everybody, helps you as well. So this is end of the day inbound deals, testing new markets, any of your sprint training day 7 or after, case studies, your rep ready, deal cloning. Yes, on all three. Let's see if it shows the overnight deal engine. Now, the reason I call it that is ideally you could put it up to 10 deals. Make sure you kind of if you got zip codes and stuff, kind of make sure all your zip codes and your city states and all that are right. Go to sleep, wake up the next morning. It'll actually go through and process all your deals and get them ready to It'll have all these check marks. It'll have the blue, for this more screening. It'll have the directions. It'll have yellow triangles if there's a concern, and it will have red, basically for this is probably a no go. So these are the files that I have in the everything will file into the Dropbox, into the AI, into the Airtable as well. So it's kind of cool, prompt bar, and then the overnight deal Lindsay. So this is actually the live demo of Wamblee. You guys can look up the. I can give you guys the address, but I'll still show you the screen where I did it at because it has a lot more information. It shows you the actual report. But here's the 12 inputs. And there was a number. What the asking prices were, turnkey. What the time closes are. It gives you a lot of good information. The offer presentation, the capital match. It has a risk score and exit map. You can do the offer. You can do all the stuff. You can do an offer prep. But I'm going to go through here real quick. Let me go through and see if I've got it where it's at. I have to kind of remember oh, here. Let me go through because I did one more after this, and it looks like sometimes make sure you're right because I put in Raven Ridge, which is another property in Park County. So here's what I actually, believe it or not, this is Raven Ridge. I'll show you guys Wamblee in a minute. This is my copy and paste from the realtor, and I just didn't leave her contact information. Would have been here, so you guys can see what information she posted. So I just copied. This is the information that I put in. And this has got me all the stuff on Ravenwood. Now there's Ravenwood. There's the house. It actually made this. It took her pictures. There's like 12 of them. And it took them and it put, here's the price, here's the bedrooms and all this stuff. There's the address. So it kind of made that, which is kind of cool. You guys can make your own. I mean, these are the pictures you guys can see. These are the pictures right there from her Facebook post. And I know her, so there's me actually. It made me, yeah, it's pretty funny. Let me go up and show you guys Wamblee.
It's nice that AI colors your hair, Nate.
I've never worn glasses in my life. I wear it because I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, it might give me hair. I'll have to try it.
So this is what her post was. The pictures. It had the cabin, it had the deck, and this is like the area, like Evergreen's over here. Yeah, this is like looking west. So that's where that's where I live in that area, Onecrest. So this is her post. Again, I don't know why she does this. I asked Danny that. She's just like that. She's in this area, where a lot of rural cabins, and she sells a lot of second homes, and it's a huge fire danger. So you guys will see in here. You get to the field test. This is the address. This is the actual. Here's an open house that she's doing. It's got 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 750 square feet, 0.9 acres. So basically, there's one prompt that came in. Analyze this on-market property in Onecrest, which is the neighborhood in Pine, as a mountain retreat investment or second home STR asset. It gives all that information. You guys can read it. It's going to pull comps, exit options, risk factors, and all that. So it's got the county mapper for Jefferson County. It talks about the BuyBox builder, STR cabin, the pricing beds. So it's going through lender match, the offer generator, lead vetting AI, your deal structure designer. It's got your off-market conversion engine. So it's going to have your viability resale scenarios, and the overnight deal engine would generate comp map and STR income potential. It's going to talk about this is a second home, a lifestyle retreat, or short-term rental, fully furnished. Cash only talks about different options. Now it talks about risk, incinerating toilet and cistern system. So traditional STR renters may not really like that, having a cistern. Obviously it's a fire danger, guys. Anytime you hear about our county has a big fire like every year. Fortunately, we have really good fire departments. No well or septic. It's off-grid appeal, but reduces resale. Legal structure and zoning would trigger tool 173. If you put in for STR, it's going to trigger that. It's going to pull up the risk mapper. Then it's going to go and it's going to give you the link to it. Won't actually go on or pull the information, but it'll give you a link to Jefferson County's their short-term rental regulations. So you can go read this. Seasonal access, confirm snow removal or plow coverage. I'm going to tell you, you're going to need to make sure there is a plow. The county plows it. And dirt roads get a road grader, and regular road, paved roads get a snowplow. Fire zone risk, guys, smart walk, repair estimator with wildfire defense check, tool 509. If this property sells, they've had to get a permit, not really a permit, but like a letter from the fire department. They've had to mitigate, they've had to remove some trees. They usually remove trees, they don't let trees touch. They'll remove the branches. They do a lot of the cleanup, things like that. The fire department has to sign off on it, and you have to use a Jefferson County approved contractor, or you have to have an inspector come out. You have to at least pay an inspector from an approved inspector to come out, who's the county. So it's going to pull that. And when you get into those STR regulations and you get into the 509 with the smart walk, it's going to tell you that. And it'll give you this is going to be in the Elk Creek Fire Protection District. So it's going to actually refer to that when you're in the Jefferson County's page. That way you're going to have an off ramp to the Elk Creek Fire Department. And they'll actually, they have paid firefighters. They're a career department. So then it's going to give you your smart strategy routes. It's going to tell you all that. Your creative finance overlay, all your stacks. I mean, literally, these are all the tools that are in here. Now, and once you get to these tools, it's going to walk you through how to use it. It's going to give you a use case. It's going to give you the prompt bar. It's going to tell you what you need to input into that tool. I mean, it's all there. And I could foresee this by the year having 1,000 tools. Keep in mind, if there's tools you guys like, you can build them. If you build them and you want to protect them, you can do that as well. If you want to build your own GPT, you can do that as well. You can use anything you want as an associate. The lifetime people, you can use anything you want to build your GPT and your business in here. Output kit. So you have the PDF, the modeling, the map, all the summary. It has a scorecard. It actually scores it, gives you a generator, and then here you go. We can promote it. So I'll see. Now you guys will see sometimes I've gone a little too, so it'll do that. So when it does this, I'm glad it actually came up. Sometimes it might say file not found. Just remind it. It'll reprint it. I'm not going to print these out. I just wanted to see if that would happen. Drop these. So I'll have them drop in a second. It'll take a minute or two. Like I said, right now, there's really nothing it can't do. If you're doing a syndication, it can help you get everything together for your syndication, including your waterfalls, your preferred return, all that stuff. If you are looking to do anything illegal, it'll refer you to the attorneys. Jillian Sidotes is onboarding. Merrill Cowlisser is onboarding. Paul Vincent is onboarding. I've invited Jeff Watson as well as Gene Trowbridge. So I've probably invited 6 to 7 real estate attorneys, and they've all agreed to most of them have agreed to the process of onboarding. So you'll get like a little referral. We've also got a transaction coordinator working on, and Willie's also a TC. So we should have Jay Holder on board to be like, if people want to have a transaction coordinator, then it will refer to his company. If people are looking for EMD and GAP, if you are doing EMD and GAP, you tell it, because it'll actually refer people to you. So here's so there's it'll tell you this. Sometimes you got to regenerate. I'm just regenerating so I can show people in the future. You guys see, I mean, a lot of stuff in here. I do a lot, I do almost, you could run your whole business in here. There's just so much stuff. I mean, the other day I found so last week on Thursday night, if you guys know, we were supposed to have a session. I had to start it late. We had a 501 gateway timeout. It actually walked me through it. I ended up going to the computer I use for streaming for like entertainment is to my left. I logged on to there. I've never been on ChatGPT on there. Got in, told it what was going on. It told me to fix it. I came back. It was working again. So we just started at like 15 minutes late. I think Zeke was on. A few other people come on later. Pretty sweet. Anybody got any questions? I know Troy, James, Brianna, you're all on. Cool. I think Gabe got off. And Zeke's been on a few sessions. So let me finish this up and then, yeah.
Hey, Nate, one of my guys, Brandon Lehman, said he sent you a note. He's ready to sign up.
Oh, okay. To the Zoom?
Not to Zoom, to the RCIC.
Okay. Let me see. Did he, I don't know, let me figure out. Tell him to contact me on Messenger.
Will do.
And I'll walk him through it. Because I don't know, I think he was trying to, I don't know. I know a couple people have contacted me. So that's pretty much it. I know it's a little bit, probably the first couple times you guys have seen it. Well, James and Troy, you guys have seen it a few times. If you guys have seen it evolve, remember where it was just a couple weeks ago? I was probably at 100 tools at that point. So Willie's on it 3 or 4 hours a day. Troy, are you like sleeping? Awesome. All right. So I think we're pretty much wrapped up for tonight. So I'll go ahead and take the recording off.